for today. All right, good morning, traders. Today is November 19th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. That is the day trading division of the hit and run candlesticks family. Thank you, everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you so much for subscribing to my content, following my content, leaving kind words. Hey, special shout out to all those that share my content, like John Jordan, Bob Jordan, Jim Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted. Love that. Thank you. Help get the good word out there so we can grow the community. Thank you so much. Love that. All right, let's go take a look at the markets this morning and see what's going on. See what we can do to. Well, I think I got a few announcements at first. Let me go through these announcements. All right, first announcement is tomorrow. We're going to have member e-learning. All right, that's going to be in the combo room. All right, so if you want to know how to get to the combo room, you would go to your member log into Hit and Run Candlesticks, and this is your members page. All right, you'd log in right here on the combo room. You click this button and a browser would open up for you. And there's the combo room. So I'm going to be in there from noon until, till about 3, till Rick finishes up. Want to hear everybody's presentation. And so I may not be presenting at all inside the BYOB Trading Room. So be advised that that's where I'm going to be tomorrow. Again, Doug's going to start at noon. I start at 1, and then Rick starts at 2. And we'll answer some questions. We're going to do an overview. The topic's going to be overview of chart patterns, candlestick formations, and key indicators. Okay, so it'll all be recorded, so you can find it on the Hit and Run Candlesticks family. If this is your first time being in here, since you would find it right over here. You go to resources, e-learning replay, and you'll see these are our past e-learning replay. All right, so you just log in to Hit and Run Candlesticks, resources, tab down, e-learning replay. You can see we've got several. You got one from Rick, there's one from me, there's one from Ed, another one from Rick, different topics. Okay, each of us gives a presentation on the same topic. All right, and you can see there's about 10 to each page. There's 33 pages. All right, so that's 330 videos, roughly about an hour long each, right there. So a whole lot of learning, and that can be found, like I said, again, in the resources. Okay, you just tab over to resources, hit e-learning, and that will take you up here. There's a lot of other videos as well. Public webinars right here. If you click that, you'll see about 20 pages of videos. All right, 10 each page, so you got 20 pages. There's another 200 videos right there. Okay, another 200 videos under resources. Again, public webinars. Okay, if you're here for the first time, it's all free e-learning. All right, a lot of it's located on YouTube, but it's right here centralized, so you can find it very easily. So there's those as well. All right, one other announcement before I get started. Okay, and that's going to be we got some Black Friday sales and we got some Cyber Monday sales. Okay, my Black Friday sale is a lifetime for $39.95. All right, I think you get to attend all the workshops. All right, for no charge. That's included. Anybody has a workshop, you're included in the workshops. All right, Black Friday for a lifetime of $39.95. I think some of you in here probably even make $39.95 a day. All right, so something to think about. I think that equates. I don't know what that equates out to because it's a lifetime. I'm going to put the link in the description. I also will put it in the alerts. But there's our Black Friday sale. I'm going to have a Cyber Monday sale. And the Cyber Monday sale is buy an annual and you get 6 months for free. So it'll be 18 months for the price of an annual subscription. I think the annual is, I think it runs about $1,205. I'm not positive, but I think it's around that number. Okay, don't quote me on that, but that's going to be our Cyber Monday sale. So we got a Black Friday and a Cyber Monday, and as members, you're all available to pick these up early. All right, you don't have to wait for Black Friday or Cyber Monday. All right, they're all going to be available right now whenever you're ready to sign up for them. If you got any questions, get with me, get with Ed. We'd be glad to clarify anything, or if you're interested but you're just not sure, but you got time left on your subscription and you kind of want to back it up to right behind your subscription. I think they will work something out with you. Again, I'm not on the pay end side of it. I'm more on the delivery educational side. So the probably the best person to talk to would be Ed Carter. All right, if you still got some time left on your current subscription, but you're interested in a lifetime, or you're interested in the annual for I think it's $1,200 around that, and you get 18 months. All right, that's our Cyber Monday, and they're both available now. All right, but I'll put the links in the descriptions, and I will try to include those in the alerts as well, so you'll be able to, hey, good morning, Chip, so you'll be able to take advantage of those Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. All right, let's talk about the market. All right, so again, thank you everybody for being here. My SPY pivot this morning, 660.90. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab Five, every one of them, made lower highs and lower lows, closing under their traps, under their 17s. SPY closed with a 2-hour downtrend and a 10-minute downtrend. Gold in a daily uptrend made a higher high and a higher low, closing under a bearish trap. Is that right? But over the 17 EMA. Silver in a daily uptrend as well, made a higher high and a higher low, closing over bullish trap and over the 17 EMA. USO in a daily downtrend, had a nice day yesterday, made an outside day. That's a higher high and a lower low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. UNG daily uptrend as well. Made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bullish trap and over the 17 EMA. US dollar index remains in an uptrend, but closed near the 99.58 area, still in that bear flag. Has not broken out of the bear flag yet, so it's in a daily uptrend inside that big bear flag. SPY max pain for today, 663, with a put to call ratio of about 1 put for each call that expires today at 4:15. Again, those are only for the options that expire today. The max pain 663. Index options expire at 4:15. Security options expire at 4. If this is your first time, these are all in daily uptrends over the 17 EMA. If they got a little star next to it, they're building out a launch pad or a bull flag from which to launch higher. These are all in daily downtrends under the 17. If they have a little star next to it, they're building out a bear flag from which to dip lower, or a platform from which to dip lower. Okay, so these all have kind of bull flags going on, and if they got the star, not all of them, only the ones with the star, have the bull flag from which to ready to launch higher. So these are over the 17. These are under the 17 in daily trends. Okay, uptrends, downtrends. All right, let's take a look at the market. All right, let's take a look at the hourly. Okay, I see a little trend line over here. I see another trend line over here. I see a spike of that trend line right there. So let's just dig it out on the hourly time frame. Okay, so let's start this up here, and let's extend this out here. All right, so we got a little hourly downtrend. We're gonna have to break that day hourly downtrend if we're ever gonna get to 700 up here. All right, so price action, you can see we came down underneath the uptrend line, and then we kind of recovered last night, yesterday afternoon, and then at closing time, the bears came in and just squashed it. All right, at the last hour, they squashed it all the way back to VWAP. Now, on the 15-minute, okay, you can see we made a low. But then we turn around and we made a higher low. Okay, little something new here. Okay, and then with the higher low, all right, we then see the high there. We produced a little bit higher high, but notice we did not break this high. Okay, one other thing, we did not gap fill. All right, so we gapped lower, and the bulls failed to fill the gap all day long. All right, so we're going to look at the pre-market, but keep this in mind. Okay, the bulls failed to fill the gap yesterday. Okay, so that's weakness on their part. Okay, even though we're making little higher lows, little higher highs, all in all, the bulls failed to fill the gap. Okay, so, and let me just say, that's not a very high bar to set. Okay, all right. It's that was very easily to attain, was to fill that gap, and the fact that they couldn't do something that easy kind of says to me, I still smell more weakness in SPY. All right, so we'll see what happens. This is a 15-minute chart, and you can see I've got the higher lows and the higher high, and then the pullback. And of course, the pullback low yesterday did not get below this low, so we got another little higher low. So we'll have to look at this to see if they can dig out a higher high. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. We'll find out. All right, so SPY coming into the close. We're going to hit the 10-minute chart. 10-minute downtrend. You can see the candlesticks riding on the 3 EMA. 3 EMA underneath the 8 EMA. 8 EMA underneath the 17. Okay, blasting, trying to cut through VWAP right here. So 10-minute downtrend coming into the close. All right, let's look at the 2-hour chart. 2-hour, nice daylight in the 2-hour. You got the candlesticks riding on the 3, riding under the 3 EMA. The 3 EMA is riding under the 8 EMA. Both are pointed. See, they're both pointed down. So we're in a 2-hour downtrend. Now we're hitting support. This is called diagonal support, or you can call it a trend line, whatever you want to call it. All right, so we're hitting that diagonal support, and we've got this downtrend here. All right, so just kind of want to flip this out, maybe out to there, drag this in, tighten it up. Okay, so got that 2-hour support. No, that's 2-hour downtrend. Okay, now we got this daily support right through here. Now, we spiked it. We didn't break a rubber band candle on it, but this is not the same, $7 bounce that we're used to seeing. But let's see what we got here. 658. We went up to 6. Well, there's a $7 bounce. Not too bad. All right, but we'll see if they can follow through with that. So there's a 2-hour chart. So there's SPY on the 2-hour in a downtrend. Look at the daily chart. Yesterday's candle, lower high, lower low, and closing under a bearish trap under the 17 EMA right there. Let's look at it with the quad lines on it. Okay, so we got price action way up here. So we're bullish up here. We're in this territory, but we're just not acting bullish. Okay, what we did do is put in a lower high. All right, and we did put in a lower low. So we're in a downtrend all the way up here in quadrant 4, which is bullish, but we're in a downtrend. Okay, so it's nice to be in the bullish area, but you got to perform in the same manner, and we're not right now. Okay, 2 hours in a downtrend, daily is in a downtrend, weekly still in an uptrend, but the 3 is now crossing over the 8 EMA. Not a very good sign right there. Okay, but let me just say we've been in these downtrends before. Right here, we made a lower low, and we dug ourselves out of it. So it's possible for us to dig ourselves out. But again, well, we're going to wait and see what they're going to show us, okay? It's going to take some bulls to step in, all right, and start working price up, all right? And they're not doing it yet, all right? So still a little bit bearish right now, making lower highs and lower lows. Monthly chart, you got that daylight between the 3 and the 8. See the candles riding up on top of the 3. So monthly's in an uptrend. Weekly's in an uptrend that's experiencing a 3 or 4 bar pullback. All right, so is in an uptrend, hasn't broken anything yet, but let me just say it doesn't look good up here, and it's very possible they consolidate, and move to the right. We'll find out what they want to do soon here. So there's SPY on the weekly chart, still in an uptrend. Monthly chart, still in an uptrend. Daily chart, definitely in a downtrend with a lower high and a lower low. 2 hour, also in a downtrend, lower high, lower low. You can see right here, okay, in a downtrend there. 10-minute, obviously in a downtrend right there, not making a lower high, lower low yet, but you can see clearly that the candlestick's riding under the 3 EMA and under the 3 EMA, and the candlestick's riding underneath the 8 EMA. All right, so we're into that daily support, which is the diagonal support, which we had not there right here earlier, okay? Got that diagonal support. We'll see if that's going to hold up. It may not hold up, okay? So there's SPY. We'll take a look at the game plan, and we'll look at that on the 10-minute. Actually, let's try the 15. All right, so on the game plan for this morning, okay, we've got green erases red, okay, up over 665.40. So over 665.40, that's a green erases red event or entry up there. If we do get over this, I would definitely be going for this line right here, or this breakdown candle high, and then of course this high right up here. Okay, so the breakdown candle high, that high, and then this all-time high anchored VWAP, which is at 675. Wow, that'd be a big run. $15 day. I don't think we get that high, but we could get up to 673.16, or up to this. See this valley between the two peaks? We could get up to right here, 667.81. There's a possibility we get up there. Again, green erases red over 665.40. Pivot 660.90. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Red erases green underneath 657.90. That's a red erases green entry. All right, let's take a look at the pre-market and the post-market to see what we can extrapolate from the price action that's in it. Now, remember, they couldn't even fill gap yesterday, and that was a very low bar. They were not far from it, and they spent some time up there, and they just didn't have enough to fill gap. So now let's go look at the pre-market and see what we got going on here with the pre-market. And what are we doing here? Here we are, pre-market, okay? So we got some post-market, okay, price action with consolidation over to the right, bear flag there, okay? In the pre-market, all right, we've got price consolidating up over this, but not over that, okay? We had a 10-minute uptrend. We lost it. We're now back into a possible 10-minute downtrend right here. All right, so as soon as they break this low right there, that rubber band candle, the downtrend is game on for me. Okay, breaking that low. In other words, printing candles down here, closing them down underneath this green line or this white line right here, that's game on. 10-minute downtrend is on. All right, so there's 10-minute chart. They're trying to act bullish, but clearly there's no institutional stepping in, because look at the candles. It's like green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, a little more red, less green, again, and now it's all red. All right, so closing candles underneath this line. That's a break of the rubber band, the bearish 10-minute rubber band candle. Probably going to want to be short for a continuation of yesterday's 10-minute downtrend that we left off with yesterday. Okay, so again, first target would be right here. That was the low they needed to beat yesterday. So this would be my first target, right the bottom of that wick right there. That would be my first target. Well, no, my first target's going to be gap fill right here. There's the first target. Second target is going to be this breakup candle low. So right along the top of that. Okay, that breakup candle low right here. Okay, and then of course yesterday's low right down there. Okay, so what are these numbers? Okay, that one comes in at roughly 655.92. Let's just call it 656. This one comes in at 657, about 658. All right, and then this one gap fill comes in at 660. All right, so these are the numbers: 660, 658, 656. Those are my targets on the downside. All right. Again, remember, we could not fill gap yesterday, and it was not a very high bar that we set. So again, I'll be looking for more selling. Now, we've seen the bulls operate in this area. So again, I'm going to try to stay with the trend, the 10-minute downtrend, until it ends. And it's possible that it doesn't go far. We'll find out. I kind of have a feeling that we may be getting a chop day. All right, so be careful, only because we've seen evidence of bulls operating in this area yesterday, and they were operating in the pre-market yesterday morning. They were operating in this area as well. So it could be a chop day, but 10-minute downtrend, I'd like to trade that lower. I don't know how far it goes. I may get one candle after they break the rubber band candle, and that's all I get. I have to recognize we have that possibility. All right. Again, if they do fill gap, all right. Again, more weakness on the bulls' part. If the bears run it in and fill gap. All right. Now here's the clue. Okay. If they miss gap fill by even 1 penny, all right, before noon, all right, that's a bullish clue, and we could find ourselves running up there and filling the open gap that was never filled yesterday. Okay, that is a bullish clue. If they miss gap fill down here by even 1 penny, all right, that will be a bullish clue for price to run up here and fill the gap from yesterday and probably even race even higher. All right, that will be my bullish clue that I'll be looking for. So look for the 10-minute downtrend and the gap fill. All right, if they fail to fill gap, that's the bullish clue. get ready. Price could be ripping to the upside. Okay, so there's 10-minute chart. That's my plan for today. Again, I want to enter on this 10-minute downtrend. It's a little early, all right? We've got another hour before price opens up in the open market. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I do want to trade this 10-minute downtrend, which is commencing up here in the same area that we failed yesterday. Okay, 10-minute downtrend. Again, I don't want any candles. See this candle here? See how it's got more tail than body and wick? Well, that's obviously some bullish control right there. Okay, I don't want any green candles if I'm going to be trading short or buying puts, directional puts. Okay, because that's moving in the wrong direction and showing me the wrong type of control. I want to see red candles. I want to see where the red candles tell me that the bears are large and in charge. Okay, if I don't see that, then it's probably not going to be a good entry. Probably not going to be a good trade. Okay, you can see here we've got the big tail candle. Now price is coming back up. Maybe they come back up and challenge the highs. So clearly this 10-minute downtrend did not break the red 10-minute bearish rubber band candle. And hence what happens is price gets recalled back to VWAP. See that? All right, not breaking that, and price has a not a certainty, but a strong possibility of returning back to VWAP. And here we go. There we are again. So just be careful out there today. Okay, so there's SPY. Price getting recalled because they failed to break the red bearish 10-minute rubber band candle right there. Okay, so we'll see what happens, all right? So this is SPY right now. If they break the top of this consolidation, all right, that'll be an entry, but bear in mind, all right, there'll be some profit taking at the top of this consolidation here, and there'll be some profit taking at the gap fill that was failed from yesterday. Okay, right there and right there. So there'll be profit taking right up in both of those sections. Okay, if that if they start a 10-minute or break out of the top of that range right there. So there's the margin orders. Okay, breaking this bearish 10-minute rubber band candle. All right, then we're looking at coming down here to fill gap, and then coming down here to get the breakup candle low. All right, and then coming down here to hit yesterday's low of day. Okay, on the upside, breaking out of the top side of this consolidation over prior consolidation. Okay, first target, it's going to be the top of this consolidation. See all the wicks up there? Okay, and then a little bit further is going to be gap fill right there that the bulls failed to fill yesterday. The next section up is this breakdown candle high up there. The break down candle high, which is 669.50. All right, we'll see what they want to do. Okay, right now we've shown a move up and over to the right. So that's a bull flag. Okay, so they got to break out the top here. All right, they got to get through all this consolidation. All right, they got to get through the gap fill from yesterday. Remember, we got a bearish gap yesterday that never got filled by the bulls. They just failed right here. They gave up. I don't know why, but they could have moved it up higher, but they failed. They actually let it roll over on them right here. So we'll see what happens. So there's SPY on the 10-minute chart. Let's take a look at QQQ. All right, it's going to be very similar because they pretty much match each other. All right, so we got the same thing, a bull flag that is formed up here. Okay, so again, I either want to see a break of the 10-minute rubber band candle. In other words, I want to see a candle close down here or down here. Yeah, down here underneath this candle. So underneath that tail All right, that's my bearish entry. First target gap fill. Second target breakup candle low. Third target yesterday's low of day. Okay, I'll put them in here so you can see. First target's gap fill. Second target breakup candle low. Third target yesterday's low of day. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, on the top side, if they break out the top, okay, we're going to go to the top of the range. Right there, we're going to go for the gap fill that never was achieved yesterday. Notice they did the same thing. They failed to fill their bearish gap. So we're going to do the gap fill thing. All right, and then the breakdown candle high up here. So we got two of those. We got one here, the breakdown candle high, and we have another one here. Okay, 2 breakdown candle highs. So if you want to take a picture of that, I'll let you take a picture of that real quick, and then we'll move on to the daily and the other things. So they left off with a 10-minute. You can see here's 10-minute. They left off with a 10-minute downtrend right here. Okay, now notice they did not make a lower low. So the question is, are the bulls going to be inspired to make the higher high just as they did earlier? Or are we just going to consolidate in a bear flag over to the right and move down and over to the right until closing time today? Okay, so we'll see what happens. There's QQQ. There's upside targets and downside targets. Again, breaking out of this consolidation. On the north side, those are the north side targets. These are the south side targets. Remember, they were weak yesterday, just like SPY, failing to fill gap, and that was a very easy bar to set. So we'll see what happens. Could be nothing but consolidation between 595 and 602. All right, there's a possibility for that. So could be choppy today as investors make up their mind whether they want NVIDIA or they don't want NVIDIA. We'll find out, okay? A lot of rumors running around as some institutions parting ways with NVIDIA. We'll see. All right, so there's QQQ on the 10-minute. On the 2-hour chart, okay? I'm going to clear that stuff off right now. Delete all of that. Don't need it. 2-hour chart. We got candles riding on the 3 EMA. So coming into the close, we had, see the daylight between the 3 and the 8. Okay, so we have a 2-hour downtrend right there on QQQ. Same as SPY. All right, back to the daily. Daily candle was, pay no regard to that candle. It's this spinning top right here. Lower high, lower low, closing under bearish trap, under the 17. A lot of weakness going on. There's a low, making a lower low. So got a lower high and a lower low. So we got ourselves a downtrend. Okay, now put the quad lines on there. There's our uptrend line. So we need the bulls to kind of step in and repair this uptrend line. I don't know if they can get it done. There's a little bit of a sign right there, but that's just inside that candle. Okay, clearly not enough. We need a lot more from the bulls. All right, so QQQ. We're in the bullish territory up here. That's quadrant 4. But the problem is we're not moving up. We're making lower highs and lower lows, and we're moving down. Okay, so it's bullish, but in a downtrend that's kind of falling apart. Here's our April low. This is quadrant 4. Anytime we're in the upper third, that's bullish. Okay, in the lower third, that would be bearish. This is bullish, but we're not bullish right now because we're in a downtrend. We don't even have a 10-minute uptrend. Okay, so in a downtrend right now on the daily chart. Weekly chart and monthly charts are still in uptrends. They are not broken. We're having a 3-bar pullback here on the weekly. Who knows if that turns into a 5, 6, 7, 8 candle pullback. We'll find out soon. Well, in the next month. In the monthly chart, almost engulfing, almost, but not quite. Almost engulfing right here on the monthly chart for QQQ. still in an uptrend, still got daylight between the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA. So, and they're both pointed up. Some of them are starting to roll over. You can see the 3 starting to roll over, just like on the weekly. The 3 is kind of rolling over, pointed in the wrong direction right there. But we've been there before. You can see this one was pointed in the wrong direction, in the southern direction. Okay, and we found our way out of it. Okay, and I have faith in the markets that they'll find their way out of this. So a lot of rumors running around that Berkshire's dumping their Nvidia. Somebody else, Sophie's dumping their Nvidia. Okay, just be careful. All right, you get a lot of this. We're dumping our Nvidia, and only to find out that they sold it to one of their partner companies or sister companies to park it for a while till we find some energy to produce some more AI. Okay, so just be careful with what you read on the internet. Take it with a grain of salt. Let me just say, NVIDIA is the future. NVIDIA is tomorrow. Tomorrow doesn't come without NVIDIA. That's it. All right. I mean, you're going to need NVIDIA if you're ever going to get a higher high in the market. It's not going to be. You're not going to get it without NVIDIA. AMD could step up, but right now they are the market player for tomorrow, and I don't think anybody or any country is going to give up on tomorrow. And I can imagine all the countries around the world would probably wish they had a piece of NVIDIA, or NVIDIA would come to their country. All right, because that is the future right now. Okay, AI. This rally right here was mainly based on AI. All right, so when NVIDIA gives up, I don't see the rally going any further. Okay, now it's possible we could just consolidate up here and move over to the right. We'll find out. Okay, so there's QQQ. Again, on the daily chart, we're bullish up in quadrant 4, but we're not moving up. We're in a downtrend right now. Okay, let's take a look at FNGU. All right, FNGU. All right, NVIDIA is in FNGU. Okay, so the bulls need to repair this. Okay, this is major support right here. Okay, bulls need to repair that. If we break below this, things could start falling apart. We could probably see SPY 650, maybe even 600 as we come down and check the major support on this consolidation below it. Okay, so currently the bulls need to repair this breaking of the major support area right here. Okay, so there's FNGU on the daily chart. Yesterday's candle, lower high, lower low, closing under the bearish trap, under the 17 EMA, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, under the major support area, closing under here. We need to recover that or repair it. There's a leak in the dam. We got to repair this sometime today or tomorrow, but soon, definitely, or there could be a flood of price action to come below here. We'll see what happens. FNGU on the daily is in a downtrend with lower highs, obviously lower lows, still in a downtrend, just like QQQ and SPY. Weekly, still in an uptrend, all right, weekly, and the monthly still in an uptrend, all right. It's the daily that's falling apart here. They need to fix that. All right, that's FNGU. Again, bullish. They're in the upper third, but in a downtrend. Okay, they lose the upper third. All right, then we come back down here into neutral territory. Okay, that's where we wind up. Okay, so IWM. You can see IWM challenging. See this breaking out of the quadrant 4. This would be yesterday's candle for IWM. Lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap, under the 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Still bullish up here, but in a downtrend because they put lower highs and lower lows. Diamond Dow. Now remember, Diamond Dow about 5 days ago made a new all-time high. Just think about that. This is yesterday's candle. See that spinning top, that red one? 1, 2, 3, 4 days ago. See that? 5 days ago, we made a new all-time high in Diamond Dow. Okay, so, and already we're in a downtrend. Okay, so here's price action, lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap, under the 17 EMA, under the uptrend line. Okay, don't want to break below that, below this spinning top. All right, that's a break of the rubber band candle for the uptrend line. Here's Diamond Dow on the daily chart. Lower high, lower low, under the trap, under the 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Again, still up in quadrant 4, so we're bullish. Problem is we're in a downtrend, and we're setting up the M pattern right here. Okay, and it looks like it's kind of broken, all right? Unless the bulls can come in and repair it, all right? We'll find out today, all right? Might not happen until 4:15 tonight when the video reports and things just rip to the upside. We'll find out, okay? So there's Diamond Dow. Again, don't be fooled by social media. Somebody saying they're giving up their shares of this or giving up their shares of that. Sometimes they're just parking them in some sister company or some cousin company that they own a big piece of, all right? And they're just moving it over there, but they want you to give up your shares, okay, of the future, all right, by telling you we're not interested in this anymore, okay? So be careful, all right? So there's Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at gold, silver, oil, and gas. First one, gold. Yesterday's candle, higher low, higher high, closing under a bearish trap, but over the 17, flat 17 EMA and under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, so higher low, higher high, closing under the bearish trap, but over the 17 EMA right there. So gold still in an uptrend, all right? They made a higher low and a higher high, still in an uptrend. Gold, bullish and still in an uptrend. I'll zoom way out. That's quadrant 4 up there. Silver. Silver. This is yesterday's candle. Remember this one? That's today. Okay, nice ride today already. Silver, higher low, higher high, closing inside a bullish trap and over a rising 17 and over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Again, I'll zoom way out. Quadrant 4, that's bullish and in an uptrend. All right, so you can see that. Let's take a look at UNG. All right, UNG, yesterday's candle. Nice comeback for UNG today. Markets might be good today. Well, commodities are up, that's for sure. Lower high, lower low, closing under a bullish trap, but over the rising 17, still over the trend line. Okay, coming back up to deal with the 2025 high of year anchored VWAP right here. So we'll see if they can get that done. Okay, climb on top of there and consolidate. Clearly now they're trying to consolidate and hold the higher ground. That's a nice look for UNG. Hopefully they don't wind up with nothing but a big wick today. Okay, don't want to see that. So there's UNG acting a little bullish with a little bit of consolidation over prior consolidation. That's a good sign, kind of refreshing in that they're able to hold for longer than 2 candles. Okay, look at this, 5 candle hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candle hold up there. Things are looking brighter on UNG. Okay, still in quadrant 1, that's bearish, but in an uptrend, all right, which is showing potential. Again, I said I need to see them hold the higher ground. 3 candles, give it up. 2 candles, give it up. You see what they do. 2 candles, give it up. 1 candle gives it up. 2 candle, give it up. 3 candles. You see the pattern? This is refreshing to see. But then again, that's probably very easy to do when you're down here near the all-time lows. Okay? There's UNG in a nice uptrend and consolidating, hopefully, if they can hold this candle together today over prior consolidation. That's refreshing. All right, let's take a look at USO. All right, USO is still in a downtrend. All right, see the trend line right here, diagonal resistance still underneath it. Not in the lower third, not in the upper third. Still in a downtrend. So just neutral, but in a downtrend. Okay, just not ready yet. Okay, got to break trend. Show me you can hold the higher ground. Another one, you've got a 3-candle hold, and then they give it up. 3-candle hold, 2-candle hold, give it up. 1-candle hold. See this? We want to see price that's able to hold the higher ground and hold it there. Okay, there's where the strength is. It's all in the planking. Okay, remember how hard it is to plank for 10 minutes? Okay, it's all about the planking. Okay, when you exercise, when you can see price move up and hold, okay, that's a clear sign of strength. Okay, so we look for the planking. It's not here yet. Okay, it's just neutral and in a downtrend that's not going anywhere. There's USO. Let's take a look at the technicals. Okay, hopefully I can find my way back to where I was. T2101. Okay, the market moved down, and the breadth and the participation. Breadth, you can use breadth and participation interchangeably, increased. Okay, as bulls, that's really not what we want to see, but it is what it is. Okay, that's T2101. T2122. Okay, price action, spent the day, fought their way out of the oversold zone, only to camp out in the sell zone for the rest of the day. All right, that's T2122. No signs of bullishness yet. Not seeing any higher highs. There's the last high. Clearly they missed it again yesterday. Okay, T2123. Bearish gap down, not filled by the bulls. Okay, clearly the bulls missed out yesterday as well. Either that, they just didn't get enough red meat and spinach. Again, we dug out a lower low. Good signs of a battle right there. See all of the whippiness? Clear sign of a battle going on right there. Still no higher high. Still in a downtrend on the 15-minute chart. Still underneath the 200 SMA. Again, not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear, and I'm not a bear. So T2123 not showing much strength, and this is the all-time high. Here's the pullback low. Now this green line right here, there's a head and shoulders pattern over there to the left. That's where support showed up before. Maybe this is going to find some battle right through here where support will show up. We'll find out. Still no higher highs yet. T2123 15-minute chart, still in a downtrend. Okay, let's go to the 3-bar chart. Okay, you can see from the pullback high, from the all-time high to the pullback low with the quad lines in there. Okay, you can see we're down here in quad. I'm going to move this back. Okay, you can see we're down here in quadrant 1. Clearly the most bearish you could be from the all-time high. So this is kind of bearish and in a downtrend. Again, I'll back this off just a little more so you can see it. Okay, so again, we're making lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. Here's the pullback low. We made a lower low, and we even dug out an even lower low yesterday. Okay, clearly the bears are large and in charge. Okay, there's the head and shoulders pattern. All right, and then you can see where price decapitated the head In other words, negating the head and shoulders pattern. With no head, you don't have a head and shoulders pattern. Negating the head and shoulders pattern by blasting up through past the head. Okay, so now we've got a bigger head and shoulders, this being the head, this being the right shoulder, and this being the left shoulder. We'll see. Again, in order to negate this head and shoulder, bearish head and shoulders pattern, okay, we need to zoom up here and decapitate the head in order, in other words, produce another new all-time high. Otherwise, this one is in jeopardy of playing out back to the midpoint. We'll find out soon. Notice that this, I'm going to take these quad lines off because they're irrelevant right now. Okay, notice this is the upper third. Okay, they lose the upper third, they fall into neutral zone. Okay, upper third. Okay, don't want to see them lose that upper third. FNGU. Okay, this is the NVIDIA one. Okay, see all of the major support right down through here. We've tackled it once, twice, three, several times down here. Okay, if we break major support, they need to, and they did yesterday. All right, we need the bulls to repair this today or tomorrow. Okay, it's got to be repaired. Otherwise, we could see a flood of selling to the downside with investors giving up. Okay, we linger here way too long, and what happens is investors give up hope and they start selling because we're lingering in the bear flag for too long. All right, investors get leery, they get worried, they get spooked, they get skittish, and they want to get out, and they don't want to be the last one to get out. So what happens is they start parting ways with some of their good stuff. All right, so there's FNG on the 15. Okay, yesterday's price action. Okay, here's the low. Did we make an uptrend? I'm looking. We came down below there. Not much. I'm going to give it to them. They had a little uptrend going. But clearly at the end of the day, they were giving up some ground. All right. Notice they kind of held it together, not making a significant lower low here. But they still haven't made a significant higher high either. So could be nothing but chop today. All right. Just preparation. Could be nothing but chop. All right. That's FNG. We'll hit the economic calendar. Try to run through this fast. Buy max pain 663. That's for the options that expired today. One put for each call that expires today. So there is no put squeeze on the table. And max pain is 663. Dollar is still, you can see in the bear flag. Price moves from the high to the low over to the right. Okay, still have not climbed on top of this and consolidated. All right, so we're still in the bear flag. On the daily chart, okay, we've got higher lows. See, here's a low. We made a higher low. Here's a high. We made a higher high. Another higher low. Okay, there's a high. We made a higher high right here. So we're in an uptrend in the bear flag right now. Okay, so there's US dollar. Earnings. Okay, the big boy tonight is NVIDIA. That's after the close. 4.5 trillion. TJX going to report this morning, 161 billion. Palo Alto tonight, alongside of NVIDIA. Of course, NVIDIA will dominate the headlines. Palo Alto, 135 billion. They report tonight. Lowe's Corporation, 128 or 6. My eyes aren't that great. 126 billion they're going to report this morning. Target going to report this morning as well. Okay, so this is for today. This is a market mover. All right, you may want to be hedged. We could rip big time up, big time down, or we could just move to the right. Could go any of those three directions. All right, but this is a headliner right there. Okay, so that's tonight at 4:15. All right, did Max Payne? Let's hit the did the earnings. Tomorrow for earnings, we've got Walmart, 820 billion. They're going to report tomorrow morning. Intuit, 180 billion. They're going to report tomorrow night. NetEase, they're going to report tomorrow morning, 87 billion. Ross Stores, 51 billion. They're going to report tomorrow night. Okay, Walmart could be a market mover. That's clearly almost $1 trillion. Okay, that could help out, but we do have something else to go along with Walmart, and that is we'll dig into that in just a minute. Friday we've got BJ's. Again, all these familiar names, but nothing that's going to move the markets here. Okay, Walmart's capable of moving the markets. Okay, Nvidia capable of moving the markets. Okay, let's hit the economic calendar, and it's right here. FOMC minutes today at 2. Big line employment situation at 8:30 tomorrow. Okay, that's a market mover. Today we've got MBA mortgage applications at 7, housing starts and permits 8:30. That's the delayed report. International trading goods and services 8:30 today. We've got Atlanta Fed business inflation expectations 10 o'clock. Petroleum report 10:30. FOMC minutes 2 p.m. Tomorrow employment situation 8:30. Jobless claims 8:30. Philly Fed manufacturing index 8:30. You got existing home sales 10 o'clock. Leading indicators 10 o'clock. Natural gas report 10:30. And on Friday we've got PMI composite flash 9:45. Consumer sentiment at 10. A rig count at 1. Okay. Employment situation, that's a market mover right there. FOMC can be a market mover, but not so sure anymore. It's getting towards the end of the year. Definitely don't want to see inflation creep up, but I mean, what do? It's the holiday season. There's going to be a whole lot of buying going on this Christmas because it's the holiday season. So not sure how they factor that in, but we'll find out. All right, so that's it for me for today. Right now, going to try to get this rendered, and I'll be back to see you guys open up the markets in 20 minutes. All right, thank you, everybody.